sound.
Activated mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound. WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
Activated mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
And the time now is 9:22 in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and it's about that time where we have our Talk to Me discussions, where you can call in. The number to call, 457-9997. We're live also on YouTube and Facebook, where we talk about whatever you want to talk about. What's on your mind today? What is bothering you today?
What's stressing
What
me?
is stressing you? What is stressing you?
Doc,
We have
maybe
in
you
studio
could start.
myself, Christal, and Doc, of course. Yeah.
You
Doc,
know,
go
go
ahead. Yeah.
rock, paper, scissors.
Go.
Doc.
Go ahead, Doc.
No, I wasn't gonna say you were gonna ask me something, but
Oh.
Yes, you were just telling me something off about the case there in the States.
oh,
Which one?
gosh.
Cassie?
Yeah. No, I don't want to mention.
Oh, no.
I
Okay.
don't
You
mention.
want to talk about it?
No.
or-
It is sick.
All
It
right.
is
Which
sick.
case?
I mean, it's abusive and stuff.
Don't
I
talk
don't want
about
to
it, but
introduce.
which one?
A lady had
a
Oh.
killed her
40-year-old lady in
children.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
40?
yeah,
40 years
and had
old.
sex with her dog after.
Oh, okay, yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Hell hot right now. Anyways, we're gonna leave that
I wanna talk
alone.
about this.
You know, my last question there during that segment with Marlon and Jelana.
Mhm.
I don't know. I have had experiences where I'm being like really nice because a call coming through.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Good morning, caller. You're live.
Good morning. Sorry, I got to break Christal here because I want to hear what she has to say. But quite an interesting conversation this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the conversations that I love because I love to share my experiences as well. And something I've learned so much over the years, especially observing lifestyles in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and according to where you come from, single parents and all of that stuff, right? The topic is on men and how. Just say the topic to me again, quickly.
It was men's mental health.
Yeah. Now, where men's mental health is concerned, I have been battling with that over the years. I've had to battle with that over the years because of my observations of how I see certain men behave, especially to their partners, their female partners. You know, and there are so many stories, there's so many accounts registered in my brain that I can pick on and tell you about it that I know of or I would have witnessed in St. Vincent and Grenadines, where you don't expect a professional man like a doctor, medical doctor, or some professional person to lick up the wife, the woman, or whoever they have. And I said to myself, but how they said these are the people we have to look up to.
Mm.
I hope you get to know where I'm coming from.
Okay.
Because you have certain people in society who people don't expect to do these things. So when I see all of this happening around me, it made me think very quickly of myself, ask myself all sort of questions. But I know I came up with a mother and father who instilled values, real values of morality and integrity and decency and so on. And I could apologize right now if I am guilty of not carrying out their teaching indoctrination as far as Dave Roberts is concerned. Because I think they would not have been the most intelligent people, but I think they did a fantastic job, and I say all of this in memory of them. So that's why I am speaking out like how I'm speaking out. Not many people I know, people I expect to speak out, may hear them saying one thing. And I know all is not well. But I speak out because I...
Oh, okay. Seem to be having some problems there. Maybe Dave will call back later. Sorry about that, Dave. Well, you lost your train of thought?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, no. No. Oh boy. I need to drink some water. I'm getting a little dehydrated right now. But right. So the question I asked was, right, you see a guy, he appears, not well, he might be looking sad, you try to reach out, you try to be supportive. But after a while it becomes a bit, it can become a little bit draining when you keep trying, and they're not very receptive. And that's why I asked at what point, like, do I give up and move on, or do I continue pressing on? I don't know, because sometimes some men, even in those moments where they appreciate it, they still don't open up enough for you to know, okay, am I getting through somewhere here? Should I stop? What should I do? What should I say? Is it working? Like, what's going on? It's rather difficult sometimes.
You know, what is mental illness and what is mental health? There's a broad range of things. Feeling sad and so another mild thing, some personality disorders. But anxiety, do you know that at least 4.5% of people in the world suffer from anxiety, depression? That's 500 million people. And depression is just as common. But sleep disorders, which is a form of mental illness, is massive, about 20% of the global population. And then there's schizophrenia and the bipolar disorders, which sometimes run in families. And so, Christal, in terms of getting at and helping somebody, I believe, as a medical doctor, some of these things is a lot more than the talking. I believe that sometimes it does require some form of therapy. It might require a different setting. It might require some medication. You understand? And there's a lot of resistance to those particular things. There be some chemical in the brain that's too high or too low for whatever reason. And therefore, there's some adjustments and so that need to be taken. And so is there something mild that a discussion and encouragement from somebody can I get over? Like you've just had a bereavement and that day, a guy's going to jump down into the grave. Have you ever seen that? Yeah? Where somebody, his mother's down, he's jumped down in the grave, won't let his mother go and so forth. He covered me up too, Or 2-3 weeks later, he's all right again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have a call coming in here on WhatsApp. Okay. Hey, good morning, you're live.
Hey, good morning to my favorite people.
Good morning,
Good
Joshua.
morning.
Yes. I love this. Well, I love all of your topics. A special good morning to Dr. Thompson as well.
Joshua, how are you, man?
How
are you?
I'm doing great.
Yes.
I'm doing great. My wife is an interesting person. She says every day religiously for the past 39 years, she asks me the same question. What's wrong with you? I'm still trying to figure out because there's nothing wrong with me. Nothing at all wrong with me. But there's one thing. Whenever I get up and we going out, she would say to me, "Oh, you look handsome." I would look in the mirror and I would scratch my head. I would say to myself, "This woman needs her eyes tested." But she says that, and my wife has never, ever, to my knowledge, put me down. I could do the most asinine thing, and she would not applaud me when she gets me one-on-one. She would set me straight, but she bigs me up wherever she goes. I remember, you have this one person in the family who's an informer. Our daughter came home one time and she said, "Oh, we were out and these women are saying, oh, your husband is a real, related to the donkey, the A word. I don't think you could say that on radio."
No, no.
And my wife, she said, Dad, Mom said, yes, he might be a donkey, but he's my donkey and I love him.
That's my
So you
donkey.
see, when I hear these things,
Yes. That's
I
nice.
have no choice but to be the best donkey there is on earth.
Yes, that's nice. That's really
He's my
nice.
best donkey.
Yeah, and I do have a lot of faults, but the one thing I must say, my wife, I mean, she, even if sometimes our daughter tried to take her side on something, and my wife would set her straight. She said, "Listen, stay out of this." And this is the thing that does good to men, because society feels that a man should be tough, a man shouldn't cry, a man shouldn't have problems. And Dr. Thompson, you're right. If you have a bunch of men around who could support you, I have a friend like that. His name is Mike. He knows that I hate to be hugged by a male in public. And wherever this man sees me, thousands of people could be around. He'd say, hey, look at this. And he'll give me the biggest hug there is and a kiss on my cheek.
Yeah.
But he's my
Yes.
buddy.
Yes, that's right.
And
yes.
these are the things that we like.
Mhm,
But
yeah.
you guys keep on doing what you're doing. I really, really, really love your show. And I hope, Ari, you in particular, as a male, 10 years from now,
Oh.
10 years from now, you would still be singing this song. Love you guys. Have a great day.
All right.
Right,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. You take care. Oh, thought he was gonna tell you to hug somebody. Go hug a guy or something. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yes.
it's a necessary conversation. He said years to come, still be singing this song. I kind of hope not. I hope by that time the problem will have subsided enough
Mhm.
to change the song a bit.
Well, I think too, there's a need for repetition, and the problems don't always just occur once and then they're gone forever. There are issues, financial problems, job problems, other issues, and say they can recur and they can be. So you need that continual affirmation and other people helping out in some way.
As you mentioned, going back to your response to my question there, as you mentioned, there might be the resolution to the men's mental problem might be some intervention by a qualified therapist
Yeah.
or maybe psychosocial therapy or even medication
Yeah.
in there.
Mhm.
What if he doesn't want to do that? Should the woman subject herself to that?
Oh.
Um,
Mhm.
I mean, in some cases, it can be termed as like abuse.
In many countries, there's something called a 2PC. Two physicians can get together and order that you think. Now, every now and again, you hear in the United States and other places, some person, and the police come and they shoot the guy. And they say the guy was having some mental problems and he was overreacting and so forth. In terms of at the extreme end of the spectrum of mental illness, once again, I'm not talking about a guy who just has a little stress.
Feels sad.
His girlfriend just left him or whatever, or he lost a job or he got another one soon. I'm talking about bipolar disorders. I'm talking about schizophrenia. I'm talking about issues talk about drug abuse or somebody who is severe alcoholic. How do you intervene when talking doesn't work? There are some episodes where there needs to be some tough love, you know what I mean? And some other type of interventions. And there are methods of really doing that. Now, from a human rights point of view, it should involve the participation and the compliance and acceptance of the individual themselves. Sometimes it's not gonna do that. Yeah.
It's rather interesting, though.
Yep.
We have just about 4 minutes left. All right.
But I don't know. It's a topic that we don't really touch upon a lot here. It's boy, he crazy. That's the end of that.
Oh, he's stupid.
Harry, your first question about men committing suicide is one of the, this used to be a board question, medical board and so forth. And men are more successful. When a guy, do you know some of the instances I've found in the Caribbean? A guy who is very popular, he may have more than one female partner, but one of them leaves him. You understand? There seems to be such a high rate of suicide, especially the method, the drinking of Gramaxol.
That's years ago, man. That's still happening now in high numbers. I
Well,
don't hear a lot about that.
No, because
Yeah.
first of all, Gramaxol you're not seeing around there that much anymore, right? But in our population, is there, and truthfully, we have not seen a lot of suicides.
Yeah, I
And
feel
so-
like there's a decrease.
Yes, a decrease, and I think it is partly because there has been, but in terms of self-harm, because people fear not so much how they feel in relation to the person, but what their friends are now going to laugh at them, and their loss of esteem, and their loss of, stature in their group and so forth. I think that friends can sometimes be very harsh and unforgiving. Among friends, we tend to heckle in a manner that puts, imagine so and so, and imagine this person. That we put each other down a lot, and I think that this is a form, and it may not reach the extreme of self-harm, as I was about to say, but it reaches various other ways in which people feel real down. Individuals may be then inclined to go and hit a female or to do other things because, of the way friends and so forth, that might be the acceptable thing to do in their view.
I saw something on TikTok. TikTok is its source of information these days. I saw something on TikTok. It was a podcast actually where some guys were saying that because men are socialized to be violent and handle their issues with violence, when some of them are put in relationships and then they're not being heard by their partner, they feel like they're being treated unfairly by their partner. What they know is violence, and that is why we see people reacting the way that they're reacting. You know what I believe when it comes to those suicide numbers are it's a cry for attention with women, it's a cry for help with women. With men, it's something that you decided. You're tired, you're done with it. You want to kill yourself. As opposed to women who are like, I want someone to stop me. I want someone to show me that they can. But most men are like, no, I'm done. I'm done with this.
It may not necessarily be done. It's the method used.
Oh,
so if
you're trying to finish it?
If I do, well, no, the point about it is the method used. A guy isn't necessarily going to take a pill, 3 pills, right? 3 pills in an average individual, both male or female, may not do anything, but you will end up in the emergency room, they'll pump your stomach and all that kind of thing. But you need just 1 bullet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a knife in the right place. I shouldn't be talking about that. I hope I'm not promoting.
Well, no, you could always pump your stomach, but I feel like those methods are final, which is my point, that men decide that they're done, but they don't want to be saved, they're done.
It isn't, they found out it's not necessarily they want to be done. It is the method itself used. They have no second chance.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
That's my point. That's my point.
To wrap up, if you just permit me a
go ahead.
minute, right? I think we have a very diverse listenership. And just in case there is an individual out there who is thinking about committing suicide, harming himself or herself, because while we're talking about men's mental health, a lot of the things can be applied to women as well. These are very real situations. There's something that I learned a few years ago. I did not know it before, that there's such a thing called passive suicidal thoughts. People who feel like they don't want to exist, but they don't actively do anything to take their lives. That is very serious. If you are having suicidal thoughts, or if you have attempted, you want to attempt anyway, that is something to be taken seriously. There is always hope. You can always get help. There's Marian House. There's a church. There are friends. There are psychologists around. There's a psychiatrist as well. You can seek out the assistance of therapists. Outside of that, you can just do a quick Google search on self-care and just do something for yourself. In A lot of people have gone through this before you, are going through it, and will go through it. And you could make it. You could come out a lot better, and possibly become an advocate for this as well. All right. So
So before that,
you can get some help.
I really do think that it's very important to check in on your friends. It is very, very important, because someone who is suicidal or having suicidal thoughts is not what you think would be the stereotype. It's not the quiet person in the room. It's not the person that keeps to themselves. It's the person that's the loudest. It's the person that speaks the most.
That's the point I was
Yeah.
making just
Yeah.
now. The guy who is, you know,
who's
and
out
so
there,
forth,
the one
out
on the
there.
blood, the one with the most woman, the one with the most vehicle, the
That's,
money.
That's it. That's it.
And sometimes the funniest person too.
The
Case in
funniest
point, Robin
person?
Williams.
Well,
Mhm.
yeah. Well,
But
listen,
they are
listen to this. Studies have shown that approaching Christmas time is when you see a surge, a spike in these things, because of the financial pressures, work pressures, and so
Social.
forth, having to provide for the family. I found, I gotta say, in India, there's been episodes of high rates of suicide, farmers whose crop fail and so forth. They had GMO seeds and all that kind of thing. They failed. There was, and in certain other cultures, in a South American culture, there's a concept of machismo, right? Where that whole concept of taking it out on the woman and beating her, and it's accepted that as a
Machismo.
norm. Machismo, right? Yes.
Yeah.
I want to say and support what Christal is saying, and I believe that there's not enough services. The Marian House is great, but I think we need to start providing a lot more services. And in particular, what this program brought out, there needs to be some services for men.
Are the existing services overwhelmed enough for there
They're
to be a
insufficient.
need?
They're insufficient.
Okay,
Especially
well, we need to do
mental
something.
health services. People always fear I'm going to have to go to mental home and all this.
When you
sort
say insufficient based on what we know people need, or is there an influx? Can the system handle?
in other countries, going to see somebody privately, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a whole ton of money. Doesn't mean you have to be a celebrity and paying thousands of dollars to the psychiatrist or the psychologist. There's services that you can get and things like that. I also believe in prison. I'm going to try and explore our prisoners, people who've gone there and their families and so forth. How would that dealt with? And a host of it. I think we have to look at. And then I brought up the whole of drugs in terms of cocaine. I'm glad we do have cannabis here, and even there can be cannabis use disorders. But boy, I'm glad we don't have fentanyl. As a doctor, I apologize. I prescribed the synthetic the synthetic opioids in the late 90s. And now, last year, they killed 106,000 people in the United States alone. You know, so.
All right. Well, the time is now 9:45 in St. Vincent and Grenadines. We're gonna hop into the community dateline.